Danny Flexen here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined by Eddie Hearn here at Limehouse Boxing Academy, which I think I told you earlier is next door to my old school. Has it all been so far, this community event? First one for Matchroom?
Yeah, absolutely. It's worked really well. I mean, this facility, unbelievable. I think that these kind of places are different to where we normally go in the community, which are generally ABCs, sometimes slightly run down. This is a newer facility, but an excellent one, not just for boxing, but dance studios, educational facilities, doctor surgeries. And this is a mixture of people from Limehouse Boxing Club as well, but from a lot of clubs within the area. So I think I can't express how important I feel these places are. And you've got a mixture down here of people that are coming for the first time or second time, and a lot of the younger fighters, 15, 16, 17, who are starting to merge onto England teams and GB trials, and it's just great to talk to different people and see where their mind's at, and so many passionate people about boxing.
14, 15, 16, 20, blimey. Good young with these boys. 16, 17. If you don't give it everything now, and that's the hardest thing, because all your mates will be going out, and you love boxing, I can tell. It's got to be your absolute life. Because these years are the ones that we go through. And when you talk about turning pro, all your achievements in the amateurs will determine what you do as a pro. If you don't win national titles, if you don't get in the England team, if you don't get in the GB team, if you don't make the World Championships, if you don't make the Olympics, you still have a future as a pro. If you crack it there, it's going to naturally put you on the path to contracts, to big shows, everybody that performs, and we watch everybody. There's a few of you I know, I see you there, I'm just want to see a few faces. But we watch everybody, so we know, But you only get one shot at it, yeah? So no messing around, no partying. I'm sure about you, I think you look like a night out. Yeah? Good luck, yeah? I've been watching all of you. I've seen the faces now. It's registered. Good luck, yeah? Enjoy it though, enjoy it. Sorry to be too serious. Enjoy it as well. Enjoy it. They always say to me, it's the taking part that matters. Right? It's not the taking part that matters, it's the winning that matters. If you want to be a special one, it's the winning only. But do enjoy it. Do enjoy it. Work hard. Alright? Good luck. Right, champ? Good?
You set up a plank competition. We originally told you were going to be part of it, but you weren't. But won by Ruth, who outlasted all the other competitors, and she'll now get to go behind the scenes at Matchroom at the show on Saturday night. Anything you're worried about her seeing, knowing?
No, I mean, I think that it's a great experience, especially for a young fighter. And a lot of these fighters I've seen on Instagram and tagging me into stuff, and Ruth's one of them as well. I think she's part of the England setup as well. And I think she had 15 minutes on a plank, so she deserves it. But I think it's great. One thing that I was thinking earlier is, being involved with boxing. AJ's always said this, but being involved and learning about boxing, it's not that you have to go on and become an Olympic champion or a world champion. There's a lot of other jobs and opportunities within boxing: coaching, promoting, manager, media, photographer, lawyer. Do you know what I mean? In boxing. And I think it's great for these kids to see behind the scenes how it all works. I will take Ruth, the winner, in to see AJ. And those little moments can change people's lives, So I always know that when my daughter's with Katie Taylor, I'm like this. Like, oh, please, Katie, keep going. And my daughter's just like, wow. Because that's like an inspirational moment. And I think sometimes we're a little bit naive, and we should realise that little moments like that can just change someone's direction in life. You've been part of boxing for years. Coming down here, all of a sudden, these coaches are gems. I mean, without them, these kids would be they'd have no opportunity, no recreational opportunities, no guidance at all. So, but those relationships with a coach can just sometimes a lot more powerful even than the relationships with parents. Because I know sometimes my daughter don't listen to me, but she listens to some of the coaches at Brentwood who are like 80, and she's like, yes, okay. I'm like, what's going on there?
Maybe they got involved in the plank competition, Eddie.
Maybe. But I just feel like you look around you and you know this area well, and you go to some areas, that if these kids weren't in here today, we're on school holidays, what would they be doing? They'd either be, the best case scenario, they'd be on their phones and staying out of trouble, yeah? Or worst case scenario, hanging around the alleys, hanging on the stairwells, talking to the wrong people, telling them it's okay, you don't need to do it. No one cares about you. Come work for us. Do this, drop this here. You know what I mean? And that's such an easy way. And the thing is, I don't blame the kids for doing that. But all of a sudden you come down here, and when you talk to there's kids who come to me today, 14, 15, good fighters. So, coming through the English system, just tell me any bit of advice. I want it so bad. And it's amazing to see you make sacrifices at that age, because at 15, 16, 17, we all know what we were doing, going out, finding pubs, and but these kids are it's boxing, 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 and that's the only way you're going to make it. The only way you're going to make elite level is to sacrifice everything for boxing, or everything for what you do, whether that's a career. That's going to be, don't worry about your mates, no late nights, no drinking, no messing around, and a lot of these kids. I find it amazing to speak to kids at that age and just say 100%. I'm doing that. I'm going back. I'm going for a run tonight. I'll be out doing 10k. And I love it. I love seeing kids exercise, get out, play sport, but most importantly, have a positive passion.
You mentioned AJ there. I want to talk a little bit about the forgotten man for Saturday night, and that's Dillian Whyte, of course. How much contact, if at all, have you had with him or his team in the last few days?
So the first contact was on Saturday. As it's been well established, we found out in the early hours of Saturday morning, and I messaged his management team to say, they were on the email anyway from VADA, just checking you've seen, obviously let's talk when you wake. When I woke up, because I was on East Coast time, we had a phone call, and obviously, as you can imagine, it was shock and dismay from them, and etc., etc. And I haven't spoken to Dillian directly since, just with his management team, and obviously they've now got their own issues to overcome. We've had a couple of days to digest it. Obviously, we've been put on notice as well from them about the confidentiality, because they have a case to fight. But also, I think one of the problems, and this is another problem again, is who are you fighting the case with? If you're Dillian Whyte now, he's registered with the Portuguese Boxing Commission. Do they have a disciplinary process for doping? Probably not. Will they call him in for some kind of, probably not. So, and he will want to, if he's innocent, and listen, I really hope he is, and it really surprises me to see these results. He has to at least go through some kind of process, because otherwise no one's going to be prepared to give him those chances to fight. What is that process? Will the British Boxing Board of Control come back in like they did last time and say, well, he was fighting on a UK show and we're going to have a hearing with UKAD? We've been through that situation with Conor Benn. So a lot of things have been going through my mind over the last couple of days about how we can improve, particularly on testing. But again, I had an idea the other day, I've been thinking about it for a while, about a testing pool for our contracted fighters. So like the UFC do with USADA, you have to enter the Matchroom VADA testing pool to be a Matchroom fighter. But then when I was talking about it, someone said to me, okay, what happens when someone tests positive? And I'm like, I don't know. You imagine you're putting that in a contract, a fighter tests positive, and you actually don't have anyone to tell or report to, because it's not a commission protocol, it's not a board protocol, it's just a commercial protocol that I think would be a good look for the sport. But what do you do when someone tests positive? Do you terminate their contract? I don't know, but it's very difficult, and I feel like there's really got to be more of a universal situation for these things, but there won't be one, because it's going to take someone, it's very expensive as well, it's going to take someone to do something different, try and get everyone on board for, and promoters don't want to work with promoters. If I phoned up the PBC and went, right, let's all stick £1 million into this global thing, most of them would probably tell me to go and do one,
And just finally, because there's a lot of people who want to speak to you understandably, and I'm not casting aspersions by asking this, but given the short notice with which Helenius came in, and he only fought last week, has he been subject to any type of testing himself?
Yes, now. Obviously, we can't. He's on the WBC program as well, so he's signed to random testing. I don't know when he was last tested, but for us, the only protection we can have is when he signs that contract. Do you know what I mean? So he will be tested pre-fight, obviously on the night, and post-fight as well. And he has also been part of the WBC testing program. So that kind of random if you're signed up to that system, obviously you want people to be tested as much as possible, but that's a good thing for me.
Would that go in his favour in terms of getting the fight?
Maybe subconsciously. I mean, I knew he was in the WBC rankings, so I know he's part of that. But I think what they do is amazing, by the way, and it's really expensive. Like, I know they get a lot of stick, and we always argue with about sanction fees, but that is one thing they spend the sanction fees on that is a very positive thing for the sport.
Eddie Hearn, appreciate it.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, mate.